right, so this is our wrap up for graphing unit. Shh. We're going to talk about x-intercepts and y-intercepts first. Winter. Shh. Example A. So set up my two equations for me. What's my first equation going to be? Remember, we're substituting 0 for y and solving that equation for our x-intercept, substituting 0 for x and solving for our y-intercept. So what's my first equation going to be? First term equals a constant. Winter. What is this? 2x equals what?
Oh, 8.
There we go. Okay, so our x-intercept is 2 times what gives you 8? 4. So our x-intercept is 4 out there. Set up my other equation for me. Instead of 2x, now we'll do the other term. 4y equals what? 8. So 4 times what gives you 8? 2. Where is 2 on the y-axis? Up, down? Up, 2. And there's your line. Good. Excellent. B, Karina. What's your first equation going to be?
Negative x equals 5.
Negative x equals 5. So x equals what? Negative 5. Where is that on the x-axis?
Down, sorry, to the left 5.
To the left 5. Good. And what's your second equation going to be?
Y equals 5.
Y equals 5. We don't have to solve anything for that. Where's that going to be?
You go up 5.
Up 5. And there's your line. Good. All right. C. Hope runs. Set up my first equation for me. 3x equals 12. So your x-intercept is? 4. Good. And where is that on the x-axis? To the right 4. And yeah. And then where's your next equation going to be? Good. Good. So where's that going to be? Down 6. Good. There's your line. Okay. Good. All of the vocabulary that you have here is fair game on a test. Okay. I might have you do matching. What a horizontal line, vertical line, coordinate plane. These are all terms we've been using over and over and over, and that I expect you to know. Okay. All right. Since we know how to graph, when we get down to the bottom, we're not going to use all these table of values because we're awesome and we don't need to use those because we know how to graph without it. But just for a little bit of practice right here, we're going to do one table of values. So Lily, help me with that. I'm going to plug in each of these x values into this equation and get an output value. So what's 2 times negative 2?
4.
Lily? What's 2 times negative 2? Plus 5. What's 5 minus 4? 1. Good. What's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2 plus 5. What's 5 minus 2? Yeah, 3. Good. What should your numbers be increasing by each time if your slope is 2? 2. So without even doing the math, what do you think your next number is going to be, Hope, or Lily? 5. And that's my y-intercept, right? So that works out. What do you think the next number is going to be? 7? 9? Now let's just double check and make sure we're really on track. Let's plug in the 3. What's 2 times 3? 6 plus 5? 11. So we're okay. Good. All right. Ray, help me with some of these coordinate points that we're going to find that are really small. This is something you should be able to do on your own. We're just going to do a few and you can do the rest on your own. So here's point A. Ray, what are the coordinates of point A? Negative 2, 3. Good. B is here. What are the coordinates of that point? On the good. On the y-axis, your x-coordinate is always what? Right. On the x-axis, your x-coordinate is always what?
0.
0. Always 0. Good. Oh, whoops, wrote it in the wrong spot. Okay. C is there.
2, 3,
2, 3. Good. And D is here.
1, 0.
1, 0. And x-intercepts always have a y-coordinate of 0. Always. Good job. All right, let's do one more row. Rows.
Yes.
Let's do E. I find E. Where is E? My gosh, could they be any littler? In the first quadrant. Oh, there it is. Okay, so what are the coordinates of that point, Rose?
X is 4.
Good. And the Y is? Perfect. 4, 2. Good. What about F? Where is that? F, right there. Mm-hmm.
1, or negative 1 is 1.
-1, -1.
Yeah,
Good.
yes.
Excellent. And G? Does anybody see G? Oh, there it is.
Negative 4, 1.
Good. -4, 1. Excellent. And last one, H. There.
1, negative 3.
1, -3. Good. Great. Okay, I'm going to expect the rest to be filled in by you. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you to graph. And we're going to graph without using the table of values, just what we know from slope and intercept. Trinity! Where are you? There you are. What's my intercept for y equals x?
Wait, oh.
If there's nothing behind it, what's my,
Oh, negative
wait a minute, what's my intercept here? Do I have one?
0.
0. So where do I begin on the y-axis?
0.
That's 0. Good. What's my slope of that line?
Negative.
What's the slope of that line? X can't be a slope. Slope has a value. 1, because if we don't have a number in front of an x, we always assume it to be 1. So from this point, I go up. Trinity. Where do I go? Up how many over how many?
Of 1 and negative.
How do you change 1 into a fraction? 1 over
Oh, 1 and
1 over 1. So I go up, up 1 over 1. Good. There's your line right there. Good. Okay, next one over, Dustin. Where do I begin for y equals x plus 2?
2,
At the 2, what's your slope?
1,
1. So from this point I go up
1,
1 over 1. What do you notice about the line in Trinity's equation versus the line in Dustin's equation? What did it do? Shane?
It was higher.
It just shifted up by 2, right? That's a big thing that I want to work on with you guys, is how functions shift and how they move. Because when you get back into Algebra 2, or by the time you have it integrated Math 3, we work a lot on functions and moving them. And you can move really complex functions and graph them without ever having to fill out a table of values, if you understand how they move. And it makes the whole process of graphing a lot easier. So that's what we're working on. Good. All right, Sierra. Y equals 1/2 x. So what's my intercept? Is there one back there? Let's say plus how many? Plus 0, right? So where do I begin on the x-axis? At 0, good. And what's my slope? Can you see it? It's really small. It's 1/2. Yeah, 1 over 2. So from that point I go up. How many? 1 and over 2. Good. Just like that. Remember, anything between 0 and 1 is going to have a pretty flat slope. Anything that's above 1 is going to have a pretty steep slope. Okay, good. Jahil, number, well, it doesn't have a number. Y equals 2x. So what's your beginning point?
0,
At 0, because there's nothing there. So we have an intercept of 0, and then I go up
2,
2 over
1.
1. Good. Is it necessary to fill out all these table of values in order to be able to graph? No. Is it necessary to know how to substitute values for variables to calculate an amount? Yes. But in order to just do the graphing, we don't need to go through all that work just to graph. Okay? Let's see. Did I not shuffle these very well? I thought I did. Picking all the same people. Emilio, y equals 2x plus 1. Where do I begin?
You go up 1,
Up 1
and then you go up 2,
and over?
and then over 1.
Over 1. Perfect. Good job. Good. Okay, last graph on this page. Jeremy.
What?
Jeremy. Did I startle you? I'm so sorry. So where do I begin for y equals 2x minus 3? Negative 3, and then I go up 2 over 1. Good. What's the only difference between these last two graphs, Jeremy? Do they have the same slope? They have the same slope. What's the only thing that they have different? They began in different places, right? So this one is a shift. This one shifted down 4 spots from 1 down to negative 3. It just slid down 4 from the other one. Okay, that's a shift that we'll start talking about. Good. All right, next page. Flip over. Najee. Oh, great. I thought you'd say that. Okay, where do you begin?
3 on the 1.
3 on the y-axis, and what's your slope? 1 over 1, so from here I go up 1 over 1. Excellent. Good. Sam,
Yes.
y equals 1/2 x. Didn't we just do 1/2 x?
Yes.
That's bizarre. Let's change that. So we're going to change that one to y equals negative 3/4 x. How about that?
why?
Yeah. Because you're special, Sam. Okay, so where do I begin? Shh. Actually, let's make it even better. What's your favorite number, Sam? But it's between 1 and 5.
12. There's number 12.
I love that that was recorded, too.
You're going up on YouTube. That's great.
Let's try that again. Pick your favorite number between 1 and 5. See, my friends don't believe me when I tell them these things happen, but now I have proof. See? Okay, Sam, so here's our new equation. Y equals negative 3/4 x minus 2. Where do I begin? Not on the 12.
At the negative 2
Where?
on the y.
Which one's the y-axis?
The
The uppy downy or the side to side?
vertical.
The vertical. There we go. All right.
And then you're going to go up or down 3 and over 4.
1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Is my slope positive or negative?
Negative.
So I should be going downhill, correct? Or I could have gone up 1, 2, 3 and to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Hope G. Okay, where do I begin? Positive what? We're at y equals negative 2x plus 1. At the 1. Is my line going to go uphill or downhill? Downhill, so I go from this point, where do I go? Down 2 over 1. Excellent. Or I could have gone up 2 over 1. Same line. Good. Okay. Excellent. Jacob is gone. Reagan. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay. For your birthday, you get to graph a line. Who else gives that to you, Reagan? Come on now. Okay. Graph the line through 4, 2 through the origin. So where's one of my points going to be? This is a point. Tell me where to graph that point. It's a point, not a slope. Just graph that point. Don't make it too hard. Go over how many and up how many? It's a point, not a slope. It's not a slope. Don't confuse that with a slope. Slope is always in fractional form. slope is always in fractional form, coordinates are in parentheses with a comma in between, right? So start at the middle, Reagan, look at me,
Oh, okay.
there we go.
So for the y, you go to 2. And then
Where do I go first? You do your x first.
okay,
Over.
x first, over 4.
1, 2, 3, 4,
and
up,
then 2, and then
up 2, good. And it's got to go through the origin, where is the origin?
Yeah.
0, 0, good. Okay, just for good measure, let's find the slope of that line. There's a couple ways you can do it now that you have a picture in front of you, right? But if you didn't have a picture, you could just use the points. So your points would be 4, 2, and 0, 0. That's one way. So Reagan, do you do delta y, delta x, or do you use the delta y? Okay, so delta y to go from 2 to 0, do you go up or down?
Down.
Down how many?
-3.
Down 2. And you go from 4 to 0, do you go up or down?
Down.
Down 4. So your slope equals, what's 2/4 reduced to?
1.
1/2, good. Now let's check it with our triangle. It should be how tall our triangle is versus how wide it is. How tall is it? Shh. You need to be right. Okay, so Reagan, how tall is that triangle? 2, and how wide is that triangle? 4, and 2/4 also reduces to 1/2. So either way, you've got 2 different ways to find your slope. Good. Angelica,
Yes.
graph the line through -2, 3 and 4, 3. So where's -2, 3?
Go to the left twice,
Mm-hmm.
and then go up 3.
Good. And then,
And
Where-
then
where's 4, 3?
4, 3, and go to the right 4 times,
Mm-hmm.
and up 3.
Good. What kind of line is that going to give me?
Horizontal.
A horizontal line. I bet you could figure out the equation to that line. What does your y coordinate equal most times?
3.
Where does that line cross the y-axis?
3.
At 3. Your equation of that line is y equals 3. Good. What's the slope of that line?
0.
0. Good. Noah, help me graph the line through 2, 5 and 2, -1. So where would 2, 5 be?
2 would be on the x-axis,
Mm-hmm. Go over 2 and up
5.
5. Good. And then where'd 2, -1 be?
2 would be on the x-axis, and -1 would be on the left.
Wait a minute. They're not 2 separate points. It's 1 point, right? So I start from the middle. I go over how many?
2,
2 and down
1.
1. There we go. What kind of line does that give me?
Vertical.
Vertical. And what's the slope of a vertical line?
0.
Not 0. It's the other one we use?
Undefined.
Undefined. Good. And what would the equation of that line be? Where does my vertical line cross the x-axis? At what number? 2. So it's going to be x equals 2. That's where my x values are repeating, just like my y values repeated over here. Are those making more sense, the horizontal vertical line? It seems like it. So, okay. Cyrus,
Yes.
graph the line with an x-intercept of 3 and a y-intercept of -3. So tell me where to graph those 2 points.
Okay, for the x-intercept, you would start at 3.
Tell me a direction.
You would go right 3.
Right 3. There's my x-intercept.
And then for the y-intercept, you would go down 3.
Down 3. Good. Excellent. All right, Paris. Graph the line with an x-intercept of 4 and a y-intercept of 2. So where is my x-intercept going to go? Give me a direction and an amount. Over which way? To the right. 4. Good. And then where's my y-intercept of 2? Up 2. Perfect. There you go. Good. Katie,
Yeah.
graph the line with an x-intercept of -3 and a y-intercept of 1. So where's my x-intercept going to be? What direction?
The x-intercept is going to be -3.
Give me a direction, left or right?
To the left.
Left 3, 1, 2, 3. And where's your y-intercept going to be?
Up 1.
Up 1. Good. Shane,
Yes.
graph the line with a slope of 2 through the origin. So where's the origin?
0.
That gives you a point, right? 0, 0 is a point. And now if I'm going to do a slope of 2 from that point, how far do I go up and over?
Up 2 over 2.
Up 2 over
1.
1, good. Up 2 over 1. If I went up 2 over 2, that's actually a slope of 1, isn't it? Because 2 divided by 2 is 1. Yeah, good. Excellent. Okay, Melanie, graph the line with a slope of -1 through -4, 3. So where is -4, 3 going to be?
To the left 4 and up 3.
To left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 3. So there's my point, and then from that point I have a slope of -1. So is it going to go uphill or downhill?
Downhill.
Downhill. And so I'm going to go from that point, where am I going to go? How many up or down and how many over?
Down 1.
Down 1 over 1, good. Or I could have gone up 1 over 1, either way. Good. Natalia, graph the line with a slope of -1/2 through -2, 0. So where is -2, 0? To the left 2, good. Is my line going to go uphill or downhill? Downhill, so from that point I go down 1 over 2. Beautiful. Good. Okay, last row. SIS. Okay, we're going to graph the line y equals x plus 2. What's the slope of that line? What's the slope of that line? What is 2?
1 over
2 is something, but what is 2?
1 over 1.
No. How do you know that?
Because y is 1.
If there's no number in front, we assume that it's a 1. So your slope is 1. What's your y-intercept?
Y-intercept is 2.
2. Good. So when I graph that, where do I begin?
Start at 2.
Start at 2, and then I go up,
Up 1 over 1.
up 1 over 1. Good. I expect you to be able to tell me the slope and intercept of a line. I expect you to be able to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form if I give you the slope and the intercept, okay, on the test. Good. All right, Carrington.
Yes.
Graph the line y equals -2x. What is your slope?
-2.
-2. And what's your intercept?
0.
0. Good. So where do I begin?
At the origin.
At the origin, and then I go
Down 2.
down 2
Over 1.
over 1. Good. Excellent. Okay, last one. Where's all my extra cards? Tyler. Graph the line y equals 3. What kind of line is that going to be?
0.
A slope of 0, right? Good.
Slope of 0.
What's your y-intercept?
0.
It is?
Oh, 3.
3. What kind of line has a slope of 0? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal, right? Okay. So, and then, so where do I begin? On the y-axis, where do I begin? Up 3. Good. And then I don't go up or over at all, right? So it's just a horizontal line. Excellent. Good job.